And so the other day I was looking at this hashtag All Lives Matter, and I found this interesting hashtag All Black Lives Matter. And that just sounds pretty strange to me. It's like, how's that different than Black Lives Matter? It seems like they're trying to just co-opt the All Lives Matter movement.
This is part 2 of my response to TechLead show here on YouTube and his criticisms of the Black Lives Matter movement, calling it reverse racism. If you haven't watched that first video, definitely go check it out. The link is in the description. But here's part 2. Let's get it.
There was this interesting comment here from another ex-Google tech lead. He says, can you imagine how hostile these kinds of posts would feel to a person of color working on your team? Well, my response to that is, well, let's say that on your team you have a Asian person, Native American person, Indian person, Middle Eastern person, and a black person. And then you provide privilege, say even a promotion, to the black person only based on the color of their skin. You give them extra little discounts, little goodies, specials. The other people on the team would feel like you're being hostile to them. They would not feel comfortable with that. And so that's what I'm talking about here.
So pretty much there's a mixed group of people and let's say one black person, and the one black person gets the promotion, so you immediately go, oh, they only got it because they're black. So you're essentially saying that whenever a black person gets a promotion or anything, it's not based on their own merit but quota. But for everybody else, it's from their own talents. So essentially, don't promote black people because they aren't capable of actually getting to a certain level on their own accord, thus furthering creating the problem that black people don't get higher positions they deserve, and then blaming them for not trying hard enough. It's almost like it's a paradox, y'all. But when we do try hard enough, it's, oh, you only got it because you're black. Really? Really though? Explain to me why you think this way specifically about black people and why you don't apply this same logic to Asians, Middle Eastern people, Native Americans, or white people. It's only black people that this is always applied to exclusively. Why is it that these other ethnicities' positions are always earned, but black people's positions are always given? Damned if we do, damned if we don't. So you know what? You might as well just do it anyways then, with and without your permission.
And so let me give you my opinion on the general Black Lives Matter movement. I think that overall, it's a good movement, but it needs a lot of refining. So there's this guy, George Floyd, black person. He was wrongfully killed by the police, and so now the world is marching under the Black Lives Matter banner.
Well, at least you can admit that, and now we finally have something we could agree upon.
And that's fine, that's great. I think they can spearhead this movement and show the world the way. And just imagine, how great would it be if the Black Lives Matter community said they just want equality for all. And they're not really demanding for more privilege for just black people only, but they're just saying, hey, they just want general racism to end for everybody. And they want to support all peoples of all colors and minorities out there, and generally end this whole system of, say, white supremacy.
That literally is word for word what Black Lives Matter is fighting for. Equality for black people and everybody else. And to end the hatred and racism. How are you possibly not seeing this? Stop focusing on the divergent 2% and focus on the 98% of voices that actually matter in this movement. And I see you agree that white supremacy exists, but I'll hold off for your next comment.
So the problem I have here is when Uber Eats comes and offers a little bribe to the black community and says, hey, we're going to just give only black people this discount on delivery fees. And then the black community accepts that bribe and says, okay, that's enough, that'll placate them. It kind of betrays all of the other protesters, all of the other minorities who marched with them in the protests on the streets in order to go against police brutality, against white supremacy, in order to create a more equal society. Well, those other people, they didn't get anything. They got the short end of the stick. Personally, the way I would have liked to see the black community respond to this is to say, no, that's not enough. They don't want that. They don't want to be insulted by an offer like this. It's just virtue signaling. Instead, they should say they would like Uber Eats to support all minorities or all people of a certain socioeconomic class. Because in my mind, again, when you classify people by, say, skin color and say, hey, only non-white people are going to be able to get a discount, that's not really a solid system to build off of, because there could be plenty of black people who are doing really well, who may be very successful, who don't need help. And there could be white people who grew up in very poor communities who do need more help. And so you're leaving out a lot of people, and it's just not a stable foundation to build off of when moving forward you say that you're going to fight racism with more racism using skin color as a classification technique.
And FYI, stop thinking black people are not smart enough to see through the bullshit of these companies pretending to cater to black people. If you actually did your research, you would see that damn near all black people are outspoken about how these companies are virtue signaling. We already called them out for it. Have you actually spoken to any leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement or even reached out to other black YouTubers talking about this? Because I do, and they're all saying the same thing all over social media, but you choose not to see it because it's right there. And FYI, white people, especially white women, are the most benefited by scholarship and get extra help. So again, your argument is flawed. This is actually already proven through studies. Oh, and what about scholarships that specifically target Asians? Do you think those should be canceled? Probably not. If a community wants to provide extra support for their community, then it is okay. It seems to only be a problem when black people do it for themselves. We have to provide for everyone. We have to provide for everyone else to not seem racist, but no one provides for us. But that's called whining. So we just create our own and help ourselves. Go figure. Most scholarships, financial rewards, and etc. go to white people. But if someone wants to create a specific scholarship for black people, Asian people, Mexicans, Native Americans, and etc., then why not? If they need more of it, that is nothing to be upset about, since most scholarships are not even about race, even though we know one race in particular receives it more than others. And saying that we are using skin color as a classification technique is bullying, you know it. We have already been classified as people the moment we got here. That's why these problems exist in the first place, because we have been systematically denied everything that others get. So I stand by my comment. If any communities want to create additional funds for their specific community, then do it. Because let's be honest, if every community was getting the same treatment, then specificity wouldn't exist in the first place.
And so the other day I was looking at this hashtag All Lives Matter, and I found this interesting hashtag All Black Lives Matter. And that just sounds pretty strange to me. It's like, how's that different than Black Lives Matter? It seems like they're trying to just co-opt the All Lives Matter movement.
What? Like, what the There is no All Lives Matter movement. None whatsoever. They literally and figuratively have no platform, no demands, no goals, no stance, nothing. Their only platform is to tell black people to shut up and just accept and stick to the status quo, and we will not.
And so I hear this comment quite often that, well, the All Lives Matter movement is not really valid because if a house is burning, then you just want to help that one house, and all the other houses you don't necessarily need to help. But the thing is, that's almost like saying, well, if a black house got burned down, then you're only going to help all the other black houses and give them discounts and freebies. Well, that's not really precise either. And I would say that what you really want is, after that event occurs, you could help that one specific house. Like you could give the family of George Floyd some extra money, for example. And then you implement a general insurance system across all of the houses, such that all houses are now going to be protected against fires. And you would do this in an equal manner, or you could say that only houses of a certain poverty level or a socioeconomic class or in a certain neighborhood in order to get some freebies on fire insurance discount.
Your argument of trying to dismantle the house fire scenario was a huge stretch and one hell of a leap. You had to have been in gymnastics as a kid. Like, you just gotta be. The point is to help the house that is currently on fire, period. And once that fire is completely out, then we can see what needs to be done to prevent all houses from experiencing that ever again. That is all. What you were saying was not even close.
I would like to see the actual solutions being implemented to be fair for everybody, all minorities, all people who are participating in that, rather than just giving freebies and extras to a certain community of people based on their skin color.
What? Like, what the There is no All Lives Matter movement. None whatsoever. They literally and figuratively have no platform, no demands, no goals, no stance, nothing. Their only platform is to tell black people to shut up and just accept and stick to the status quo, and we will not.
Not to mention, I'm just so sick of identity politics where people are saying that they deserve things simply because of their skin color or simply because of their ethnicity.
See, the problem with all is that black people are always the last to receive every single time, or there's nothing left, or we only get leftover scraps. So creating our own on top of the scrap is what we need to stay afloat.
And you know what really bothered me about this whole Uber Eats movement is I believe that it's going to backfire at some point, because when Uber Eats says that they're really only supporting black-owned restaurants, then we're going to develop the stereotype over the long term that black people can cook. And everybody's just going to assume that black people, they're really good at cooking, cleaning, serving people, pretty much like slavery, we go back to that. And everybody else gets into higher level skills like tech, business, doctors, management, investment banking, law. And then at that point, you have the whole black community pretty much cooking and cleaning and serving everybody else, simply because people continue to segregate people based on skin color.
That example with Uber Eats, wow. Just wow. Sure was something that was said. You think so little of black people and it shows. Wow. Just wow. I'm embarrassed for you.
One thing I think that everybody can agree on, and that this movement has highlighted in a positive, beneficial way, is that police brutality is so corrupt out there. And personally, I think, yeah, maybe we should just defund the police, right? Like, they've got no accountability. You see policemen, I've seen videos, they hide their name badges, they don't have body cameras. When they beat people on the street, they kind of move them into some secluded area so that nobody can see them. They ask people to turn off their cameras, they fire at reporters, they fire on civilians. It's really not the right thing to be doing. Even in my own community, I've seen local police, they rather sit at the stop sign and just arrest people for not making a full stop than going out there to find real crime. I would say that defunding the police and really just revamping that whole system, coming up with a way in which policemen can be nicer people and accountable to the public and really become public servants to help protect people, that would be a very worthy cause to push forward.
I'm glad you at least admitted the police are corrupt, because people see these types of videos and still say the black person had to come in. Now we have found two things we can agree on in this video. Go figure. But not everyone agrees with this common sense. But I am startled that you wasted an entire 11-minute and 49-second video to disrespect and shit on Black Lives Matter, but then at the end explain exactly what the whole freaking movement is about and say exactly what black people have been preaching for decades. Like, what the was the point of this entire video? To simply shit on black people for views? Wow. Just wow.
So there you go. Those are my current thoughts on this matter. And overall, I would like to see the Black Lives Matter community just be a little bit kinder to other people. There's this sentiment where if you're not for them, you're against them. If you want to have a discussion or talk about this or say that all lives matter, then you're automatically labeled as a racist. And the fact is that's just not true. People aren't trying to be racist out there. I support all people around me. I'm trying to be nice to everybody. And so it hurts me when I see people saying that I'm racist or that I don't like certain people or I hate people or that I'm a vile, repulsive, disgusting person, when that's really not what I'm trying to be at all. I'm just trying to come up with a system that is going to benefit all of us in the long term and find a way to eradicate racism and discrimination based on skin color for our future generations.
And what? We're the ones that need to be nicer. The entire point of the movement is that people need to be kinder to us. Like, what? Again, just wow. And yes, if you are screaming all lives matter immediately after someone says Black Lives Matter, which has a specific purpose and meaning, then yeah, you probably are kind of racist or prejudiced. and or in denial of the issues or have no actual interest in solving them and just want black people to go away and shut up in the little corner, which again, we will not. All Lives Matter people do not scream All Lives Matter for any other world issue, nor are they offering any solutions to the Black Lives Matter cause. How does screaming All Lives Matter after someone says Black Lives Matter fix police brutality? How? If you want the same things, then why change the slogan at all? Why does it bother you to say Black Lives Matter anyways? It's counterproductive. No one is saying other lives don't matter, other than the people who don't like black people and or trying to undermine the movement altogether. Black Lives Matter is equivalent to saying Black Lives Matter 2. With 2 O's. And if you don't understand it at this point, then you are willfully being ignorant and just do not care. And this goes for everyone. If all lives matter, then it shouldn't be a problem to say Black Lives Matter because we're included, right? And if Black lives did truly matter, then we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. All lives don't matter until the black ones do. I said what I said. I meant what I meant. I feel how I feel. And I'm not sorry. Later, fam. Hey guys, I've updated my Patreon to show some new goals that I have for both my YouTube channels. On my main channel, Shantae Did a Thing, since it is all about traveling and making money, I'm going to start using those funds so that I can send one of you guys to somewhere cool in the entire world. All expenses paid. And for my commentary channel, Shantae Said a Thing, I want you guys to start telling me what type of videos you want me to review, talk about, or react to. So head on down to patreon.com/Shantae Did a Thing and let's build up the patronage.
Aww, I know you're sad that's the end of the video, but that's okay because you can watch this one or that one and you'll get more of me. This one has a lot of laughter and a little cuteness. This one has cuteness and a little bit of laughter. Either way, you're gonna get a little bit of both. So, yeah. Choose.